Yes, so Hairless here. We have our second DIMASH reaction today. This is Olimpico. I received this recommendation a lot of times, and the most common thing I saw was to use the video that was on Igor Krutoy, the composer of the song, on his channel itself. So that's what I'm going to be using. Just want to say thank you to everyone who watched my previous reaction, which was SOS, my first DIMASH reaction. Card for that up here and in the description below if you want to check that out. I've read every single comment, nearly 800 of them, and I've received a lot of recommendations. I have made a note of all of the recommendations, so we will get around to them all eventually. This song, however, seemed to be the most recommended. It's sung in Italian. I have read the lyrics with the translation, so I know what the song will be about. In short, I think it's a song about determination, not giving up. It's my understanding that Igor wrote this specifically for DIMASH. He came out of retirement to work with DIMASH. So without further ado, I think let's get straight into it. Oh, that's intense, isn't it? Sorry, I'm going to have to pause somewhere. So far, he's singing with the upper part of a baritone's range. Baritones are typically expected to sing up to an E. He goes up to an F, so one note above that. There were some very interesting things I heard in that introduction that I'd like to quickly recap over. The first thing is the harmonic progression, the chord sequence that's used for this little section. If you say Hairless from the future, I'll just quickly show you the chords on the piano. Then to voice them a bit closer together. So these chords that we just saw, B minor, A flat minor, C minor to G, they don't really have a strong relationship with each other. So it's difficult to know what chord is coming next. There are no true indications. That in itself, I think subconsciously builds tension within the music. It also kind of reminds me of when you're queuing for a roller coaster. You know, in theme parks, the music that they have. Maybe that's just in the UK, I don't know. Then the section just after it, this bit here. This is really interesting to me. I'm going to ask you the question, what key are we in right now? We're in G. That's pretty clear. You can hear that in the bass. Do, 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 do. And I think I can really faintly hear the D as well. So you have G. So we know we're in G. And then you've also got... But then it's the middle note of a chord. This one here, which usually determines whether it's major, happy, or minor, sad. So happy, major would be... Sad would be... We don't yet have a clear indication, so we're a bit unsure. By the whole tone of what we're hearing, the whole vibe of it, I'd be inclined to say this is minor, it's sad, you know, there's a lot of kind of tension. To add further confusion here, the lyrics, when translated, are "you're strong, don't be afraid, be brave" kind of thing. Should that be happy, encouraging? Or is it you're not there yet, you haven't reached your destination yet, so should it be more negative connotations, a bit sad? The melody though, it does end on the major third. Happy, but it really doesn't seem that happy, does it? So whilst in theory it does make sense we're in a major key, why doesn't it feel that way? Maybe Igor is just being cheeky and just adding in a B natural, but really it is G minor. This immediately caught my attention, and I think the fact that it's so interesting at a bass level, harmonically, fundamentally, can only exaggerate the interestingness of DIMASH's voice. Let's carry on from where we left off. Sorry, what am I witnessing? He's just casually changing voice type, not only in pitch, in range, but in his actual vocal technique. So here, he is kind of singing in the tenor range. But his voice doesn't sound like a natural tenor. By that I mean some people are just born with a natural tenor voice. A high chest voice is very floaty, airy. Vocal technique he's implementing here, it seems to be that of more of a baritone. Even the great Pavarotti, the most celebrated tenor of all time, when he was singing in the lower parts of his register, you can just tell he's a tenor. It's a tenor voice that's singing lower. You know, that doesn't sound like a baritone with that fuller chest voice. But then here, he like just switches and unlocks almost this tenor voice. Now, and if that isn't enough, then he immediately carries on into this luscious, you know, countertenor voice. In other words, like a male alto. It's mad. And then in this phrase, he switches between his full chest voice and then his blended voice. So typically you can have like three voices: your full chest voice, lower down, your head voice or your falsetto, higher up, and then a blend which is in between. If you smoothly transition from one to the other, it's kind of like but if you don't smoothly do it, there's a clear break. Imagine like yodeling or kind of just like I'm sorry for such a poor demonstration. So he goes from his chest voice to his blended voice, back to his chest voice, and then just into his head voice. So seamlessly. Chest, blend, chest, head, and then a tiny bit of a blend there. I can really imagine that watching this live would almost be like a outer body experience. Right, let's carry on. I like the choreography behind. I think my brain's going to explode. I was getting into the choreography, listening to the chorus in the background, creating this massive feel. And then DIMASH is just out here just doing that. To recap that whole section where he's, you know, using the upper ends of his falsetto. To start here, he's making that F sound so easy. It's doable by guys, but it's difficult. I don't know how he sees that in terms of his own range, and I've seen in the comments that when interviewed he says not to focus on his range, just enjoy the music. But I wonder if for him he sees this as high at all because his range is so vast, or if he's just like, oh, it's kind of mid-range. I'd be interested to know. So the top note of this phrase, that's a top G sharp or A flat. This is pretty much the highest note a child chorister would be expected to sing. Then he goes higher to a top A sharp or B flat, exceeding expectations of a chorister. Unbelievable in itself, considering he has a broken voice. He's going to stop there, surely, right? No. That's the top C, which is how high a soprano is typically expected to go. But no, why would he be done? Why would he finish at a top C? Just go for that top D, higher than a soprano is typically expected to go. Why not? Right, let's carry on. He's a showman, isn't he? Oh, bravo. What a showman. That's a good thing. I mean, he just captivates the audience. That's utterly ridiculous. There, he's finishing on a top E. That's just one note below the top note of the infamous Queen of the Night solo from Mozart's The Magic Flute. That top note there. But in that, the soprano just has to reach up and touch it. That's no easy feat by any means. It's insanely ridiculous. But DIMASH here, just holding it, sustaining it. It makes my head like shake. I understand why Igor Krutoy came out of retirement after hearing DIMASH. He's able to write music that would have been thought impossible before. No way someone can sing this. I just want to give a quick honourable mention to the backing instrumentation here, because after all, it's no performance without the music to support the singer, particularly the piano part. No, I'm a bit speechless. I've received so many DIMASH recommendations. I'm sure you can see that I'm absolutely baffled, and I will continue this DIMASH journey. I'm so excited to see the boundaries that he kind of tests here. Let's leave it there. As always, thank you for watching. Would appreciate a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.